Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Pochettino's Chelsea received 4 digits inside them this evening in a devastating event away at Anfield. It could have been more, but also the story could have gone differently. What happened tonight? Well, maybe a wrong starting lineup. I understand how certain choices had to be made due to injuries. Of course, a goal for class, a goal in terms of the different class between Chelsea and Liverpool. Make no bones about it, mate. Not getting points away at Anfield to Liverpool when they're top of the Premier League ain't the biggest problem in the world, no matter what your task is, whether that's avoiding relegation or winning the Premier League itself. That's not the problem. Chelsea drew 7 times in a row in our last meetings with Liverpool. We've always given them a game. Even when they've played better, sometimes we've played better than them, but we've always drawn. That's right, I can confirm. Here it is, the confirmation. Paul Tierney is the headline support act for the Jurgen Klopp farewell tour. Look, man, if any Liverpool fans were wriggling their way into this video, we were outclassed. Liverpool were much better than Chelsea on the day, but it was peculiar officiating, mate. In the times of VAR, like, wow, 2 stone wall penalties from Virgil van Dijk, and I'm happy to say when I don't think it's a penalty. 2 stone wall. Conor Gallagher gets the side of his thigh clattered by Virgil van Dijk, and he goes over. Because he literally is battered by him. And then again, later on, it was Nkunku. It's Virgil van Dijk again on Nkunku on the back of his heel. It's a stonewall penalty. Both of them, right, which Chelsea were denied, were greater penalties than what we conceded to Jota. And I went, oh, Liverpool won a penalty. Look, man, I do not subscribe to any conspiracy nonsense, anything like that. It's a silly theatre thing in football. But as the fan of the recipient team who weren't granted 2 stonewall penalties, but no matter what, the Liverpool can have one. And it's, as TNT Sports said, he bottled it in front of the Kop. And yes, again, we're going to talk about the game. To reiterate, Liverpool were way better, okay? So just before I sort of hammer this home a little bit, let's be balanced, okay? Okay, well, possession was pretty equal, actually. But they had 27 shots, okay? So Liverpool were absolutely good for a win. Granted, many of those shots were Darwin Núñez losing his goddamn mind. He hit the post twice, he missed a penalty, and he got a yellow card. He's the craziest player in the world. We'll talk about the game a little bit more, but look at the time when these penalties were. The first foul on Conor Gallagher by Virgil van Dijk in the box, that's at 0-0. So you go 1-0 up away at Anfield. It changes the psychology and the complexion of the game, right? And the second penalty, Nkunku had just scored in the 71st minute. So what, you probably have at least 25, 26, 27 minutes left, and you'll be 3-2. And in fact, at that point, if we were given both of the penalties we were supposed to be, it's 3-3 in the 4th minute, 75th minute. It's 3-3, and anything can happen. And actually, at that point, Pochettino had made changes that had affected the game in the second half, so we were looking better in the second half. Do you know what I mean? So these are ifs, maybes and buts and all that kind of stuff, and it's all theoretical, but you've got to look at it like that when the officiating's so farcical about the ramifications it can have on a football match. Yes, I'm going to get into these Chelsea players and the manager. I just think when you're the lesser team here, and Chelsea are the lesser team to Liverpool, and I don't think anyone's contesting that. Any Chelsea fan will be mental to say that, despite our good head-to-head record with them in the last 3 years. You can't have this multiple crazy decisions go against you, and then as soon as they get a sniff of a penalty, it's just granted to them. It's a nonsense. I think it's, there's no conspiracy against Chelsea. I joked about the farewell tour, but it's just awful. It's a bad look again. It's just 3 penalties, 1 for one team, 2 denied for the other. It's a nonsense. Let's talk about the game, shall we? So Pochettino, what did he do? I think Pochettino messed up here. The thing is, I don't know who can start, who's been cleared from the medical team. So maybe he played the best starting 11. All the players that featured, I think many people were happy with. Nico Jackson didn't make the squad. Breuer wasn't even turned to, which makes me think he is getting transferred tomorrow, or there could be a transfer tomorrow. And yes, by the way, Chelsea news videos every day. I recognise I got the deadline day wrong, which is a silly and embarrassing error from me. But a moment to say, if you want to support me, hey, like and subscribe. Daily Chelsea Chelsea news videos, of course. And I will be covering deadline day tomorrow with at least one video at some point. So yeah, Breuer didn't come on. Dude's probably going to get flogged then. Not sure how much difference. He's been in poor form. Not so much sure how much difference he would have made. So, of course, Petrovic in goal. And despite shipping 4 goals, he comes out of this pretty darn well, actually. We'll speak about that. The back 4 was Chilwell, captaining the side, next to Silva, Disasi. And right back was Disasi, and Badiashile, was in the middle. So I did think this could happen. Ideally, you'd wanted Gusto and Chilwell starting, but Chilwell had a bit of a nightmare on the night, of course, getting booked for diving as well. In fact, we've got so many early bookings. We're going to run you through the timeline in just a moment. The preferred midfield three of Fernandes, Caicedo, and Gallagher. It was actually more of a 4-2-3-1 than usual. A lot of the time, it was a 4-3-3. If you look at the heat maps, this was a bit more of a 4-2-3-1. We had Cole Palmer up top, playing as a false 9. He was flanked by Noni Madueke on the right, Raheem Sterling on the left, so Gallagher was in behind him. It was an absolute nightmare of a first half. We somehow got away with a 2-0. And actually, until they were granted the penalty, which was so frustrating in the 65th minute, we looked pretty good. So, of course, the game starts. Gallagher gets fouled in the Liverpool area. Virgil van Dijk coming across him, kneeing him in the side of his thigh, which you can see it shocking him to the ground. VAR, wave it away. We've done that to death now. Diego Jota, who loves a goal, is in scintillating form, but obviously got to give credit to Conor Bradley. I think he won man of the match on the night. He got at least... We got an assist and a goal. Very, very good. And they got 2 assists and a goal. Good for him. Anyway, he assists Jota. We get loads of yellow cards. I think our whole midfield was booked, wasn't it? I think Conor Gallagher was booked. Certainly, Moises Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez within the first half an hour. The double pivot was booked, which was just a sickener. And then Ben Chilwell dives in the box. I'm never going to defend diving. I hate it when Sterling does it. To be fair with Ben Chilwell, he sees there's a foot there to go over, and he's like, wow, this is obviously going to be a penalty. But the guy manages, I can't remember if it's Konate, but he gets his foot out to his credit, and he's like, oh, now I'm just diving. So he almost made the decision to go down over that leg rather than leaning over him or doing simulation like that. But us, whatever. Yeah, dive, get booked for it. Axel Disasi gets booked. 4 players booked in that first half. Really, really bad. Luis Diaz scores a goal as well. So, it could be 2-1. Also, it could be other, like I said, Liverpool had many other shots. I think in the first half, Petrovic makes a couple of wicked saves. Pochettino absolutely rolls the dice at halftime. He takes off Madueke. He takes off Chilwell, his captain. He takes off Conor Gallagher as well. So he brings on Nkunku, Mudryk, and Gusto. So now we've got Badiashile playing left back. So they all shift over. And we've got Gusto playing right back. And Mudryk's playing left wing. Nkunku is playing striker, which kind of moved Cole Palmer over to the right, which makes a lot of sense. And we look actually pretty good up until they're granted their penalty with no decision at all. Straight away, have a penalty, boys. Gusto plays in an excellent cross, making an instant impact. Probably our best player on the night in terms of doing their job. Oh, you could say Nkunku, actually. Nkunku, by the way, I'll say it now. Great runs, and there's 2 occasions. I'm not one for digging out players, and I do think generally he's been quite good, serviceable recently, despite people's criticism. Raheem Sterling has blood on his hands from 2 excellent Christopher Nkunku runs where he just waits 45 minutes. You just got to play him in, mate. You just have to play him in. There's no excuses. No excuses. I'll get that out now while I was thinking of it. But Malo Gusto played well. He played an excellent cross. Mikhailo Mudryk skies it. He's got to do way better. It's on his weaker foot, but yeah. I mean, I'm not going to dig out Mudryk. I know where he is and what he is right now. I think he can be excellent, but there's a reason why he didn't start today. He's not on form. And he does look like, he can be an effective player against Liverpool at devastating pace, really taking advantages of the spaces in behind. But yeah, you can tell it's just something needs to click still. But yeah, he did all right, Mudryk. We'll talk about player performances in a moment. And of course, they get given that penalty. 3-0 now, Carney Chukwuemeka now comes on for Moises Caicedo. And a little reminder how Carney Chukwuemeka is... a really, really effective attacking player for us. He assists Christopher Nkunku, which is an excellent finish, by the way, and he's surrounded by Liverpool players. There'll be like a great photo of, almost Eden Hazard-esque of him on the ball, surrounded by red players. Slots it in the corner, and is really, really effective, like he was when he came off the bench and scored before. But like, and at this point, you could be like, oh, and Darwin Núñez assists Luis Diaz later, and of course, just after, I said at the top of the video, just after the Nkunku goal, we denied another Stonewall penalty, which could have made it 3-2. And had we had all those penalties, it could be 3-3 at that point. Again, Liverpool much better on the night. It's very important that we say that. So, and then later on, Palmer comes off for Cesare Casadei. So I think Casadei will be used, actually. And of course, a talking point is Berea wasn't used. Therefore, I think he might be subject to leave tomorrow. And I wonder if we'll be on the blower and bring someone in after this game. You do think, don't you, when you have a result like this just before the window closes, if Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart are like, uh-oh, let's do something here. Let's do player performances then. Petrovic in goal. I don't care if you ship for. Maybe I'll man of the match. He looks great. I'm totally happy with him. Therefore, I won't say anything else. Chile, very disappointing. Unlike him, the game got to him, the atmosphere got to him. He's a great player, Chilwell. He showed how different he can be last game, but he got wound up by the officiating. He then dived and his head was gone. I think Pochettino was disappointed with him. Of course, he was one of the players that didn't make it into the second half, which is very telling. Maybe Poch will say he's got an injury or something. Disasi didn't have his best game at right back. I don't think bad issue. I don't think Silva was good. I know everyone's saying like at halftime. I do an Instagram live show at every halftime at Chelsea game at Football Yannick. If you're interested, I don't think Thiago Silva was very good in this game. He was sort of like looking disappointed with everyone around him, but I don't think he was good. I don't think he was like way worse than everyone else. I just don't think he was good in terms of how he was moving, occupying spaces, doing a lot of having a go at people. But like, I'm looking here on actually who scored. He's got the lowest rating in the Chelsea back line, Thiago Silva. Whatever, I don't know how seriously people take these stats websites. Gusto, when he came on, very good. Maybe our best outfield player with Nkunku, Malo Gusto. Fernandes and Caicedo, disappointing. Caicedo got booked really early because a foul was given that was probably not a foul. And this is kind of goes with my how poor the officiating was in this game. So yeah, it's going against you. You're at Anfield. Maybe the refs got a bit spooked or whatever. But so he just shouts something at the referee and gets a yellow. That's petulance. That's, a young kid that's like being, petulant. Fernandes, I don't think he was, I think he was okay. He did get a bit better, but I don't think he was great either. Gallagher, I think he also did a chill well and it got to him. He had a couple of good moments, but also it was very, very frustrating indeed. Noni Madueke, he understand why he's picked as a winger over the likes of Mudryk in terms of tracking back, knowing when to press, all these like tactical things that Mudryk doesn't know how to do. But I think Noni was poor on the day, bro. I think Noni was poor. I do feel really bad for Cole playing as a false nine. I'm effing done with it. I'm done with it, bro. Yes, he can get into the game and do bits, and he did a lovely nutmeg in the first half, didn't he? But I'm just done with it. He's not a striker. Stop playing him a striker. Just buy a freaking striker, or just hope Nico never gets injured. Sterling. Let's have a minute on Sterling then, shall we? Awful, bro. Maybe it's just because he always plays bad against Liverpool. Sterling gets booed by everyone. I mean, most of the time I'm not sure why, but he does. He's very much a feared villain in these games, But bro, blood on his hands, poor in the first half, and he's just 2 moments for Nkunku. And the way Nkunku finishes, look at his finishing data in Europe in the last couple of years. He is elite, he is clinical, he is lethal. When he makes runs like that, you freaking play him in, bro. Do you know what I mean? So I think Sterling, awful for me. Mudryk, yeah, he had a howler when he gets a cross from Gusto, but again, he just gives off that sort of like, unsettled kid vibe. I still believe Mudryk could be great, but I understand why he didn't start in this game, despite his profile being perfect. Because look, man, you can get look, Man City are going to win the league for my money. They just will. Kevin De Bruyne, I watched a bit of him earlier. He's just ridiculous. Haaland's like coming back. Man City will win the league. You can get at Liverpool. You can get at Liverpool. We can get at Liverpool, but we didn't. In theory, if everyone knows what they're doing, and I do have a little bit of sympathy for Poch because it's mental at Chelsea. It's friggin' mental, and then your players lose their heads because of poor officiating, and they're getting overwhelmed as well because Liverpool are just so well drilled and such a devastating offensive side, and they demonstrated that today. I do feel a little bit bad for Poch because he's got to somehow calm these kids down. And then, of course, Chelsea look better. Tierney coming on, getting the assist for Nkunku, a little bit better. And you'd think, all right, well, if Chelsea can just build a starting lineup. I mean, granted, Liverpool ended the game with their first choice back five, including Alisson Becker. With Trent came on, Robertson came on, but Bradley won man of the match, and Gomez has done a fine job. I'm looking at the back four that finished that Chelsea game. Okay, so the back four that finished there, Gusto's a great player, but Chelsea's first choice back four in a year's time, I don't think has any of those players. And of course, Liverpool started with their first choice back four. The midfield, granted, has got to do a lot better, but all the attackers that we ended with good attackers, Tierney could be a really great player for Chelsea eventually, and Nkunku, but it's just not there, is it? It's just not freaking there, bro. Ugh. Look, we'll have to shake this one off. People will talk about it in the papers and the podcasts and the YouTube channels. Oh, Liverpool really slapped Chelsea up. Chelsea got hard done by in a couple of decisions. This is where they are. But ultimately, guys, I said to my friend before, we played this game. It's going to be the Jurgen Klopp farewell tour. And it very much is. But they are good. They are better than us. It's frustrating because if we do get given, they get given a penalty. If we get given our 2 penalties like we should have done at those times, the game could have been different, especially with Nunes missing chances left, right and centre. Yeah, it stinks, guys, but, this is my job. I cover Chelsea. I'll do it every day. I'll try and dust myself down, take a deep breath, and do a Chelsea news video tomorrow. Thanks for joining me, gang. Everything's going to be fine. See ya.